trouble. Eric Swalwell is in some big trouble. He lost his intelligence uh, position in Congress, and it seems that he was having an affair with a Chinese spy. Um, there's a lot of news on the China front, and I've been trying to kind of get into the weeds on some of this. Hunter Biden's laptop has come back into the news, and there's a lot of information about his Chinese dealings, and the FBI and the Department of Justice have put, well, they put some criminal referrals together for Hunter Biden and his shenanigans with China. And Nancy Pelosi tries to defend Eric Swalwell, which didn't really go well. She tried to say that she's been on the forefront for the last 30 years fighting China. No. No, she hasn't. And it seems that Fang Fang, Fang Fang, she's been around the block a couple of times. There's a couple of mayors that are actually caught up in this stuff too, but we will get into all of that. But before we get started, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and go to chimerasdire.com. Like I have explained, we're setting up a charity, and anything that you buy from chimerasdire.com, 10% of that will go into a bank account, try to get this charity off of the ground. So if you guys could help me out, share these videos with your friends. Let's get those subscription numbers up, and let's get started. Hello, patriotic warriors. How are you today? Well, we've got all kinds of problems around our government because apparently Eric Swalwell was infiltrated by a Chinese spy, and the reports are that he was having a sexual relationship with him. And apparently she was having sexual relationships with two mayors as well. Eric Swalwell refused to admit that he was having a relationship with this woman, and in fact was blaming Axios for reporting the story. He didn't deny that he was having sex with this woman. I'll link the video down in the description, because apparently you can't tell people what's actually going on, or YouTube will hit you with a copyright strike. Yeah. You have to watch this video, because he really kind of goes around the question to blame Axios and to blame the intelligence community or any whistleblowers that are reporting this stuff. And he actually says it's disturbing that somebody would leak information on a sitting official. What the hell have you guys been doing for the last 4 years? When it has to do with Donald Trump, yeah, I got no problem with that. Oh, we've got it. We've got evidence that he was colluding with the Russians. In a dossier that was completely made up. You had leakers inside of the White House, and the Democrats were praising them. You had leakers inside the intelligence community, and the Democrats were praising them, as long as it was Donald Trump. But the moment it comes down to Eric Swalwell having a sexual relationship with a Chinese spy, no, that's off limits, you see, because that actually might be true. Now, you have people in the highest levels of the Chinese government bragging that they've infiltrated the highest levels of government in the United States. They have, quote, friends in the highest levels of the government in the United States. And you can go back and you can look at all of the statements from many people, not just Democrats, but actually Republicans too, that are really on board with some China. But the story gets way worse than that. The FBI has put out criminal referrals for Hunter Biden. And it's not just the stuff that he was doing in the Ukraine. See, Joe Biden used Air Force Two to take Hunter Biden over to China to broker a deal. Now, the FBI is investigating whether those deals were actually illegal. So if Joe Biden used Air Force Two to go over to China to broker illegal deals with China to the tune of millions of dollars, potentially billions of dollars, and you have to give half of that to the big guy, then Joe Biden was using his influence as the Vice President of the United States to broker illegal deals to make his family money. And that, my friends, is the highest form of corruption. Joe Biden is a corrupt politician. And we have people in our government that would allow China to influence our government officials, possibly with blackmail. Eric Swalwell has lost his Intel Committee privileges. He might be walking out the door. There's rumors that they're just going to push him right out of Congress. And for good reason. He's compromised. He's compromised by China. And we know it. And yet Nancy Pelosi is still defending him. It is absolutely amazing that you have somebody like Donald Trump who is incorruptible. He's already made all of his money. And if you think that any of these lawsuits are going away, or if you think that he won't use the rest of his fortune to take down everybody that pushed him out of office illegally, you are out of your mind. I've got a little bit of an update about the Texas case. I reported yesterday that there were four other states. There were four other states that were confirmed that were joining the lawsuit. This morning there was breaking news that 17 confirmed states and possibly an 18th state have joined this lawsuit suing Pennsylvania because they broke their own election law. And if they broke their own election law, it would create a precedent to where every state would be able to do that. They're taking that case to the Supreme Court, and it'll be interesting to find out if the Supreme Court actually takes up this case before the deadline on January 6th, when it has to go to Congress to appoint electors. So that is going to be a very interesting story to follow. But if you like these videos, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Hit the notification bell to get updates on when my videos are coming out. I'm going to try to do 3 a day. Sometimes it's just not going to happen because this house is actually kind of crazy. People in and out all the time. So go to shamirasdyer.com. Go to shamirasdyer.com. 10% of everything that you buy at chimerasdyer.com is going to go into a bank account so I can get a charity off of the ground. And yeah, 2021. God, I hope 2021 is better. I'm waiting for January 6th, people, to see what happens. I mean, the safe harbor that sunset has already passed. There's all of these open lawsuits. Nobody knows if anybody's going to be able to certify. And it is going to be really, really interesting to watch the Democrats squirm. All right, well, that's about all I have for you right now. I'm going to do a little bit of research and try to go into a deep dive about, in particular, this story and the Hunter Biden story. This is kind of an overview, and I'll get into that stuff in later episodes. But keep watching the news. And when I say keep watching the news, I mean keep watching how they report the news. It used to be that you could take a hard news story, you could take a liberal based opinion story and a conservative based opinion story and kind of do a Venn diagram, and where all of those stories touched, where all of those stories had things that were right in the center that lined up, you could find the truth in there somewhere. But you can't do that anymore because nobody's telling the truth, right? And if I come out and I say something and it's wrong, and I know that it's wrong, or if I think that something is right and I find out later that it's wrong, I will come back, I'll go on social media, I will do a video, I will make sure that the record is corrected. I've done it before. You just have to. I actually did a video where I said, look, I was wrong, and I'm man enough to admit it, right? Because I had got some information that wasn't true. And I ended up spending all night long on my porch with a damn AR because of it. But the media isn't so honest. They're not as honest as I think Americans deserve them to be, right? I did a video about how I thought that maybe Oregon could flip red. But what I didn't realize was the extent of the corruption. Early on in this channel, I did a story about Shemia Fagan. And Shemia Fagan had this commercial that was running constantly on TV before the election. And in that commercial, they actually say that Shemia Fagan will stand up to Donald Trump. Well, she was running for Secretary of State. She was running for Secretary of State. It wouldn't be her job to stand up to Donald Trump. It would be her job to make sure every vote counts. And this is where I failed. This is where I failed to realize the extent of the corruption, how deep the corruption is. And if we have media outlets that have no interest in that corruption or are actively helping the people who are corrupt, then we need to turn those channels off. We need to start our own channels. We need to put the evidence in the description and allow people to make their own decisions. Are you going to believe everything that I say? Probably not. Are you going to agree with everything that I say? Probably not. You don't have to. Because guess what? I have sources. I have sources that I trust and I watch and I read and I listen to. And sometimes those opinions don't line up, but I am allowed to disagree with people like Glenn Beck or Mark Levin or Steven Crowder or Tim Pool or whoever I'm listening to. I have the right to disagree with them on certain things. Does that mean that the information that they're putting out isn't good? No, it's not. No, it's not. But those opinions on that information that I have to calculate in my brain and make decisions for myself rather than just regurgitating what other people are saying. The simple fact is, Donald Trump was the only person that was actually fighting for the American people. He put his career, he put his fortune, he put his livelihood on the back burner to help the people of the United States. And he did a damn good job of it. And the Democrats stood in his way every step of the way. Not just Democrats, Republicans as well. There are a lot of Republicans that hate Donald Trump just as much. And there are a lot of Republicans that'll stand there and look you in the eye and say, I'm supporting Donald Trump, and then stab him right in the back. Start looking or listening not to what they're saying. Start listening to what they're not saying. And then draw your conclusions from that. That's all I've got for you for this segment. I'm going to do a series on the Constitution because there's a lot of misunderstanding about the Constitution, what the Constitution says, what it actually is. It's really a lot of procedure. The only time you ever get into rights and everything like that is Bill of Rights and the amendments following the Bill of Rights. But yeah, I'm going to get into the Bill of Rights specifically because there's a lot of misunderstanding, and I think there's a lot of misunderstanding on the left and the right as it pertains to your First Amendment rights, your Second Amendment rights, and so on. So I'm going to do a small segment on each article of the Constitution. I'm going to put it into a series. I'm going to put it into a separate playlist so that everybody understands what the Constitution actually says. This is my copy of the Constitution, and I find it absolutely amazing. You look at this particular publishing, and it's published 2012 by Barnes & Noble Incorporated, printed and bound in China. Now, I'm not saying that, we should have only constitutions made or printed in the United States. I would like to see that, or American flags that are made in the United States. But I find it absolutely fascinating that our Constitution is printed in a country where if the people who were printing this book right here were caught reading that book, they would be pulled out of the factory and shot in the back of the head. This is what we're dealing with. And I'm going to leave it there. You guys have a good day. I'm going to start on these small videos dealing with the Constitution, the First Amendment, the Second Amendment specifically, and kind of explain what actually our rights are. It's really important for people to understand the Constitution, what it says, and why it says it. So you guys have a good day, and I will talk to you later.